I'm thinking of in my own experience, like, yeah, knowing you're ready to lead, and also there have been times when I'm like, do I have enough training? Do I have enough skill to go and do this on my own? Or especially in ceremony, like, what if something goes wrong? Like, what if somebody like has a psychotic break, or like I can't bring them back to their body, or like, what how did you know you had enough uh training, but also just personal power to be able to hold a ceremony space?
I would say one of the experiences are, whilst through the training, having multiple of experiences, whilst being with mentors, thinking, I can't do this, and them saying, yes, you can, and then going beyond all of those limiting beliefs. That is so through experience of helping people, through years of experience of already holding ceremonies outside of the realms of our mentors, with their blessing and also the stick that's like, go and do it. You just got to go through it. So those years of training and pushing through that, there's a confidence, there's a knowing that arises. And why is that? It's because Jamie and I, and this is not unique to us, but we have such faith in our ability to connect to our higher selves, to the plant spirits, to our galactic friends and guides. We know we don't need the answer. We're not in ceremony opening a book and being like, okay, psychotic break, what should we do on mat number 3? That it's like, that would be like crazy. So it's kind of like learning how to like trust, and in those instances, it's the same, I imagine, as what it would be like for any soldier or firefighter or police or medic or whatever might be in an emergency situation, that there is that faith within the training, that there's the muscle memory, and then there's also that connection to the higher self. It's like, I know there's no doubt there in that moment. There's no room for doubt. So it's that ability over and over and over and over again to overcome doubt. Doesn't mean there doesn't need to be doubt there, just because you can do things, that doubt can arise, fears can arise in situations, in anything that we do, but it's that trust to know what the truth is, to connect to that truth and to follow that truth, and for that to carve the path forward. On the other side of things, there's very practical human things to do. Like, we have a really, really good intake form. We have a really, really selective process, and selective meaning that we make sure that no one's first do no harm. So anyone who comes and works with us, if you're going to be susceptible perhaps to having a psychotic break throughout medicine, that we would feel like that beforehand based upon either medications or pre-existing conditions, we would honestly say to you, this is not the right work for you. However, you don't need ayahuasca to heal. And we also provide all of our other different offerings, which we connect to the spirit of the plants and channelings, and are able to provide healings and opportunities for people to heal without working with the medicine. We also work with people who are perhaps highly traumatized and are not necessarily yet ready for the medicine, to be able to work with them in an online setting or an in-person setting where we do healing ceremonies without people taking medicine, and do work with people to help get past that perhaps deep level anxiety or PTSD that kind of takes the edges off that trauma, so that they're more suitable to be able to work with us. So we also have absolute faith in our intake process. And we also have absolute faith in that whatever arises, we will be with our plant spirit teachers, Noya Rao, Blue Lotus, and other plants that we work with, that we will be there with them as conduits for them to do the healing. So we just have to open to allow the magic, the healing, the wonder of spirit to work through us. So it's like, okay, I don't have to know it all. Yeah. I don't need that book for mat 3. It's not necessary. It's just, how can I continue to be an open channel? And this is what it looks like. It looks like in day-to-day life, being willing to look at your own trauma, being willing to continuously clear yourself from unconscious patterns and behaviors, limiting beliefs, being absolutely dedicated 100% in service to all, and putting everyone else's welfare at the absolute highest confidentiality, safety, security, integrity, and having that as a mantra and allowing those values to dictate everything that happens so that we're always in alignment to everyone's highest healing and evolution. And we have absolute faith in that. And that's what allows us to do this work.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
And Derek, are you okay if I expand on that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. That you nailed it, by the way, as far as I feel it. The other thing I'd just like to add into this with the question that you asked, I came to the tradition of curanderismo, or the Shipibo tradition of curanderismo. I had already had about 6 years of professional experience as an intuitive medium. And so with, basically connecting to the unseen subtle energies or the multidimensional realm without the use of an entheogen or a plant medicine. And so in that work, and this also applies to anybody who does what, I'll just, for the sake of not having a better word, anyone who does healing work. And when I say healing work, I think sometimes people think of like, massage or Reiki, and these are, yes, of course, or therapy or counseling or yoga instructors, but it's also anyone who, Derek, I researched you and your work and your podcast and looked into see what is Derek all about, so I would refer to you as a healer, because the work that you're doing is you're allowing yourself to be open to the highest good, healing, and purpose of other people and empowering them to step into those truths, right? And stepping into that truth can have a physical, emotional, or mental effect of healing. And so sometimes people think of healing as, it's just something for the body. No, it's when we step into knowing ourselves better. And that can be through the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, whatever plane that is, and whatever service that person's providing as a healer. So when you ask that question, and Michael's talking about trusting, having faith that I don't have to know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't have to have exactly in place. Okay. Like you said, chapter 3, what do I do when someone has a psychotic break? But I trust in that moment that the infinite abundance of loving intelligence is available to me should I decide to be connected to it or attentive to it or aware of it or receptive to it, and that it knows what's needed. And that I don't have to. All I have to do is be attentive to it and connect to it. And, just specifically in plant spirit healing and ayahuasca ceremonies and a healing retreat that we would do, we would be consciously working with the spirits, the intelligent, loving spirit of the plants, who we also see as doctors. Plants are so symbiotic with humans and like knowing us and reading us and being so specific to our needs. So in a ceremony situation, Michael and I are going into that ceremony consciously setting our intention of, we're here in service of the highest good, healing, and purpose of all these participants. And we trust that spirit and the plants know exactly what everyone needs. And so we're opening ourselves to be a channel for that to make its way through. We're kind of like, we say sometimes we're kind of like the human ground plane team for spirit and the plants. We're the physical face of them in those moments. But also in an intuitive reading, if I'm working in an intuitive reading online with no entheogens, just connecting to the unseen subtle energies, it's the same thing. I may be having a client or working with someone. I haven't met them before the session. I don't know who they are, but nor do I need to. I don't need to have any of that information. I don't need to always know all their background. I just open myself. Spirit sees them and knows them. And that intelligence sees all of us and knows all of us and is always present and is always sort of pulsating with like, it's here to help, always here to help. And so all we have to do is sort of like kind of set ourselves aside for a second and just allow that intelligence to be present and sort of feel into it, connect to it, or just very directly hear it, see it, know it, and then communicate it with that person or bring that energy through. But again, all of us can do this, and all of us are doing this, whether consciously or unconsciously, in the work that we're doing. And sometimes we can feel it more than other times of like, holy smokes, that session I just did was the bomb. I feel like it was so easy. It flowed. It just came right through. It was like, I just was going with it. those moments when anyone has that, that's what you're doing. You're letting go of the ego. You're letting go of the mental constructs of it has to look like this and follow this thing. And if not, we're going to get in trouble. You just, okay, soften that just a little bit and let that flow come through. And you can feel it when you step on it. And it's anybody doing any work. So really, I think it's this opportunity, kind of like Michael said, of any of us, not just plant spirit healers, not just Reiki energy healers, any of us doing any work, we're having this really fantastic invitation and opportunity right now to go a little deeper, to connect with what's already there, beyond the research, beyond the studies, beyond the encyclopedias, beyond what's known to be acceptable, because there's definitely that as well. And it's not to not honor those things, but it's to honor the deeper, more vast, loving intelligence that's present and interconnects all of us. And that's, again, pulsating like the beating heart. And so all of us at this moment in time are having this invitation, or this, maybe this pull, and some of us are more resistant or easier, or have an easier time resisting than others. And some, everyone's got their own timing with it, and it's all perfect. But yeah, there's an opportunity there for any of us to be doing that, to be allowing an intelligence to work through us and complement all of the book smarts we have.
Yeah, thank you for that expanding. And I am aware in my asking of the question that I'm like, give me the steps, give me the booklet, like my own wanting to know what's the process if someone freaks out or whatever. And hearing you talk about it, like, yes, of course, that's the way to do it, is just to, like, whatever needs to happen, facilitate that. And I can tell you guys I can just hear your experience of trusting, allowing, knowing what the right thing to do is. And it's so interesting. I put a poll on my social media. What should we teach our kids that's going to make the biggest difference in changing the world? And the most common response was learning to trust themselves. And I think you said, Michael, belief in ourselves is one of the most important things. And so everyone's, understands that to some degree. And it's hard. Hey friend, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this particular clip, then I have something else I want to tell you about, which is the League of Superconductors. It's a business mastermind that I run to elevate the greatest change makers of our time. That is people that I like to call quantum entrepreneurs, metaphysical, spiritual teachers, healers, coaches, light workers of different types. And this is a year-long business mastermind starting in May of 2022. So if that's the type of thing that you're looking for, if you're looking to better fuel your mission by having a business that brings in all the abundance you're looking for, that both operates at the 3D level, serving the people of Earth, and at a multidimensional level, bringing in all of the higher wisdom and experience that you have access to. That's what we're doing. So if that sounds like something for you, then you can check out the link below, read a little bit more about the program, what we do each month. And I also invite you to apply for a call with me, a strategy session. We can get to know each other. I'll coach you a little bit, and you can decide if that might be the exact thing that you've been looking for. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.